What's up, guys? I got Danish here, who recently got top 32 with this Gemini deck at the North American WCQ Ultimate Time Wizard Tournament. So yeah, just show me what you got, man.
All right, cool. So the first monster is UFO Turtle. We played two of this guy. This guy lets us, when he's destroyed by battle, obviously lets us search Lone Fire Blossom or Blazewing Butterfly. Lone Fire is really good because it'll then grab us our Gigaplants. And the Blazewing's really good because you can revive it off of Gigaplant. A lot of people don't know you can revive insects or plants off of Gigaplant, which is kind of crazy. The Blazewing Butterfly is obviously good because its Gemini effect is you contribute itself to get a Gemini monster from your grave, and then it has its Gemini effect active, right? So if you have like one Gigaplant in grave, one summoned here, you activate, you bring out Blazewing, you supervise Blazewing, you trigger the effect, you then summon back this Gigaplant with its effect, and then you get the Blazewing back as a supervise. So you just pop off really, really quick in this deck. The next card is maybe the best card in the deck. Not the best, but definitely the ace monster. It's two Gemini soldiers signed by the BK Kids Club, the guy who created the deck.
That card's annoying.
This card is amazing. Once per turn, it can be destroyed by battle, and anytime after damage calc, when it has battled, it special summons a level 4 Gemini from deck. And so that means whenever it's attacked by a monster or it attacks into a monster, and more importantly, if it gets attacked twice, it does die, but you do special 2 Gemini level 4s, which is bananas, right? You just get so much advantage off of this one card, it's crazy. Then we also played 2 Dark Valkyria. This is maybe the best card to summon off the Gemini Soldier, because its Gemini effect is you can put a spell counter on it once while it's face up, and then you can remove any amount of spell counters to pop any amount of monsters. So if it has like 15 spell counters, you can remove one at a time to pop all 15 of their monsters if they're cheating. But yeah, this card was crazy, really good. It also gets 300 for each spell counter, so there's there's times where you just want to summon it, swing over a monster, then trigger the effect in main phase 2 to pop like a face down, right? Really strong. Then for the one-ups, we played 1 Toon Magician. Gemini effect is it just becomes a tuner, which is pretty good, comes up relatively frequently. 1 Crusader of Endymion. Now I know basically every other Gemini deck was playing Evocator Chevalier instead of this card. And Chevalier is good because its Gemini effects you can discard a equip spell from your field to pop a card, which is nice, but it only ever comes up when you have Supervise, which is unsearchable, right? This guy, he says you can put a spell counter on a card that can have a spell counter on it, so normally Dark Valkyria, and then he gains 600. So what this does is it makes him a 2500, and it also gives Valkyria a second pop. And if they stay on board, you can keep on using this effect to keep on making him 25 and keep on popping with this card. So I think it's a little bit more consistent because they're both searchable via Gemini Soldier. Just a little bit better in my personal opinion, but you can't target back row, which is the downside, which is kind of why I also do want to run a Chevalier in the next iteration of the deck that I make. But this card's crazy. I love this card. Bananas. It also looks very, very pretty, which I do like.
It's very nice.
2 more one-ups. We got 1 Neospatian Grand Mole. This card came up a lot this weekend. Really good for outing like Stardust. Really good for outing like bigger monsters that I can't run over in the moment. And more importantly, when you have Ultimate Offering up, if they swing into it to bounce it back, you flip up Ultimate Offering, activate effect still in battle phase, summon it back, right? So it's just like a threat that they just can't out without having to like negate the effects or like put extra resources into outing the card, which is why it's so good. And then the final monster we have is 1 Nettles. It's a Lone Fire target. It's also a target to resummon off of Gemini Gigaplant, excuse me.
And it's a tuner, right?
It's just a level 2 tuner, yes sir. So the general combo is you want to go Gigaplant, or you want to go Lone Fire into Gigaplant, activate Supervise on Gigaplant, effect to bring back Lone Fire, then Lone Fire into Nettles, then sync these 2 for whatever level 8 synchro you want, then trigger Supervise to bring this guy back. So off of 2 cards, you've now gone into like 2 very big monsters. Right? So it's really strong, really, really good. The whole deck is crazy. I think a big part of the reason I did decent with the deck is because people didn't know how to play against it. But yeah, now for the spells, we played 3 Upstart Goblin. Ultimate Offering and Supervise and Gemini Spark are like the 3 maybe best cards in the deck. And you want to just play a smaller deck so you can see them faster. Upstart Goblin is the best way to do that. We also played 3 Supervise. This is like the best spell in the deck. It activates a Gemini monster's Gemini effect without having to normal summon it. When you send it to the graveyard, the mandatory effect is to target a Gemini monster and special summon it back. So even if you like spark away the monster, you would then be able to trigger the Supervise and then summon the monster back. So you go, I believe it's a 2 for 2 exchange, or technically you +1 because you're also getting rid of a monster on your opponent's side of the board, or a card on your opponent's side of the board, right? So this is these 6 cards are just bananas. And then for our 1-up spells, we played 1 Future Fusion, 1 BrainCon, 1 MST. MST is bananas in this deck. Not only does it let you stop your opponent's back row, not only can you get aggressive by popping your opponent's back row, you can also pop your own supervise to trigger your supervise effect to summon back a monster, right? So this card's crazy good. Feature Fusion's really, really strong because you generally reveal Super Alloy Beast Raptinus. You send your Blazewing Butterfly and your Gigaplant to the graveyard. That way, if you have another Gigaplant on board or a Supervise in your hand and a Gemini, you were then able to start looping the Gigaplant and the Butterfly, right? So this card's crazy. Brain Control came up every so often. It's not a bad card. Obviously, this card's crazy strong. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd play it in future iterations of the deck going forward, because you only play 2 tuners, right? And one of the tuners you have to Gemini summon, so it's kind of hard to access. So you can at most like take an opponent's monster and like swing for game, which is cute, but I think there's better spells you could probably play. You can also take a monster, swing with them, then trigger it off for Gigaplant.
That's
but you
true,
also only play 2 Gigaplant, and generally you're summoning them off Lone Fires as opposed to tribute summoning them. So like it's good if you bricked on a Gigaplant, but like then you're counting on breaking for this card to be useful, right? So I think in the future I might run like a different spell over this card. Then for traps, we have 3 Reckless Greed, signed by E3 Yu-Gi-Oh! I got him to sign these because he's the one who put me on this tech. This card is crazy. I really, really like it. I know BK Kids Club, the guy who created the deck, was playing Legacy of Yata-Garasu because he doesn't like skipping his draw phase. And there's definitely merit to that. There's sometimes where you activate this card, you don't draw anything, and then you're kind of stuck for 2 turns, and that's not great. But more often than not, this card just kind of won me games. If you have an Ultimate Offering up and then you activate this card during your turn, just getting 2 deeper into your deck can sometimes just get you from like winning the game to OTKing that turn, which is bananas. So I do really like Reckless Greed. I may try out Legacy of Yata over it, but I think this card will probably be a mainstay for the most part. 2 Reinforced Truth. This just searches out Gemini Soldier. So like the best opening in the deck, in my opinion, is either Lone Fire Supervise or a Reinforced Truth and Ultimate Offering, right?
The best card in the deck.
Yeah. Ultimate Offering is by far and by large the single best card in the deck. If I resolve this, I was generally winning. The idea is you Reinforce Truth during your opponent's battle phase, summon a Gemini Soldier in defense, and when they swing into it again, you flip up Ultimate Offering, you normal summon the Gemini Soldier, and because the number of monsters on your side of the board has not changed, the attack they've declared has to go through, then that triggers your Gemini Soldier and allows you to summon any level 4 Gemini from your deck, and you plus so hard off this. Like it's so good. And then for our final trap, we play I think 5 1-ups. Judgment, crazy card. It's a super useful negate. Torrential. I saw a few builds not playing this and playing Plebe over it. Plebe is fine, but it negs you out of hand, and like setting your opponent back a turn is great, but board wiping your opponent when you have 1 or no monsters is even better in my opinion. And the best part about Torrential is it also lets you trigger your 1 Starlight Road, which is really nice in situations where you want to just get a Stardust out instead of wiping the board.
Right.
So I think cards that have utility, like I think I would play a Heavy Storm going forward as well, because I can also trigger Starlight Road off of my own Heavy Storm to just get myself more advantage. So I think cards like that are really important. The more utility your cards have in deck, the better those cards generally are. We play a Call of the Haunted to bring back any of our Geminis during your end phase and then summon them during our turn. Really good, especially with Gemini Soldier. And then we played the 1 Mirror Force. The card's just crazy. You can set any Gemini, have your opponent swing in, and then just trigger Mirror Force and keep the Gemini up. That way you can Gemini summon it during your next turn, so it's relatively useful. But yeah, that's the main deck. Let's go ahead and do extra deck next. The extra deck's pretty straightforward. I played 1 Armory Arm. This card did not come up at all during the tournament. Not because I couldn't have gone into it, but because I thought there were just other plays that were better. Catastor is another really good level 5. This card again did not come up during the tournament, but during testing it came up a healthy little bit, so I do like having it at 1 in the deck. Next we have Brio. This card came up all the fucking time. This card is so good. Yeah, this card's bananas. We have Goyo Guardian. This card came up once or twice during the tournament. I didn't like making it when my opponent had back row. I'd rather just summon Brio, get rid of the back row, and then make a big push with monsters, right?
Because you still get priorities.
So Brio is just kind of better, but Goyo is still really strong in the format. I still do really like it as an option.
Probably the best level 6, isn't it?
I would argue it probably is when your opponent doesn't have back row. You can just swing and take a guy and then plus. 1 Black Rose. It didn't come up at all during the actual tournament. It came up once during testing. But like the one time it came up, if I didn't have it, I would have just lost that game, right? So like because of that, it's important to have this card just in case it does come up, because when it comes up and you need it, you need it. Then our level 8s, we have 1 Red Dragon Archfiend, 1 Colossal Fighter, 1 Thought Ruler. All 3 of these cards came up consistently throughout the tournament. Colossal Fighter to suicide into like Titanials and Red Dragon, Red Eyes Darkness Metal. This card's crazy.
Yep.
This guy, I actually had a guy summon Reaper on me, so this guy was a really quick out to Reaper, really strong. Cloud Ruler, you pay a lot of life points in this deck, right? Like with Ultimate Offering and stuff. So like having a way to get your life points back is crazy. And a card that's not being able to target it by like Mind Con and Brain Con is also really strong. Then for our 2-ofs, we played double Stardust. The general turn 1 board that you want to see is like Giga playing Stardust off of Lone Fire Supervise, right? And because we play Starlight Road, we have to play 2 of this card. Then we played 2 Black Root Drago. This is maybe my favorite card in the extra deck. You can once per turn discard a Gemini to pop a back row. That's obviously a soft once per turn.
Yeah.
And then whenever it's destroyed by card and sent to the grave, whether it's by battle or card effect, whenever it's destroyed and sent to the grave, you can special summon a Gemini to your board with this Gemini effect. So I know there was a game where somebody summoned an Injection Fairy Lily on me.
Yeah.
And my board was Gigaplant, and nothing else. So then I normal summoned one of the Gigaplants, summoned back Nettles, made this guy. And then I swung into the Injection Fairy Lily. They had to pay 2k to get over it. I took 400, then I summoned back the Gigaplant. And then I swung with the non-Gemini summon Gigaplant. He had to pay another 2k, dropping him, I think, below 2,000 life points. My Gigaplant died and I took 1,000, but then I just swung with the other Gigaplant for game. But there's so many situations where like just the summon back for this card will just get you game out of nowhere. And even if it doesn't get you game, if you have Gigaplant Nettles in grave, you can just summon back Gigaplant, go to main phase 2, summon back Nettles, and then make the second copy, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it can suicide into so many like relevant 3k beat 6 as well is really important. Then the final 3 cards we played were double Super Alloy Beast Rapidness and Chimera Attack. Honestly, I only ever needed one of this card throughout the entire event. I just put the second one because I didn't really know what else to put in. In hindsight, it could be any level 6 synchro, like Flame Bell Uru Colossus. I know saw a lot of play this weekend. Gaia Knight Force the Earth just have like a 2600 beater to beat over Monarchs would be really good. Dark End Dragon, I know BK Kids Club was on because Dark Valkyria is a dark, and Toon Magician's a 4. So like, there's a neat situation where you could like use Toon Magician and Valkyria to summon Dark End. I kind of like that, so I may test that out in the future. But yeah, this is solid. This card's crazy. Whenever it's on the board, all your Gemini effects are just turned on.
Yeah.
So if I ever got this card on board, I would just win the game because all my Geminis were live. It's crazy. And then for side deck, we played 2 Chain Disappearance. I put this card in because going into the event, I thought Frogs was like my worst matchup.
Yeah.
That's because I played against Attil like for most of my playtesting in Dakota. And Attil plays Frogs, so this card's great against him.
Yeah.
I think I was a little bit biased against Frogs because of that. I think in the future, I would probably take this out for something else. I also learned, like, just playing throughout the tournament, Frogs it's not as, like, bad as I thought it was. It's a lot more 50-50. If they see, like, enough of their Monarchs, then they will obviously win. But I think that's true of, like, them going up against most any deck, right? If they see like 1 or 2 of their Monarchs, you can just play through those 2-3 Monarchs. Generally, you can just walk with the game.
Yeah.
I played this a lot with my friend Kwame after the event, who's also playing Monarchs. And I just, against him, it was really just a toss-up. Like, it was a coin flip as to who would win.
Yeah, there's a lot of side deck hate for Monarchs.
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
so.
for sure. Which, to that end, I was also side decking 2 Pulling the Rug.
Yeah.
This card I would not change. This card was crazy against Monarchs, it's crazy against Blackwings. I even sided in against Heroes and I negated somebody's Strato summon and just went to grave and they just negged super hard on that, so that was really good. Pulling the Rug is crazy. Next up is 2 Light Imp. I didn't side this card in at all, but that's because I didn't play against any Fairies or Light Sworns.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd change this though, because if I do play against those decks, you gotta
it's
have
too
this
good
card.
of a card.
Yeah, it's a complete blowout against
good.
both those decks. Then I sided in 2 Shadow Imp. This card is crazy. I may actually change this to like 1 Shadow Imp and then 2 Imperial Iron Wall. Because really the effects I'm afraid of are like the Blackwing effects, which are Vayu is a predominant one, but Imperial Iron Wall stops that.
Yeah.
And then against Heroes, I don't want them to activate Mali, but Imperial Iron Wall stops Mali as well. It doesn't stop things like... Does it stop Infernal Prodigy? I think it actually might, because it resolves in grave, right?
Infernal Prodigy?
The one where you tribute a hero. If you tribute summon it for a hero, you draw a card in the end
Oh, for the draw card?
Yeah.
Maybe?
I think it is. That's a niche situation.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop that, but I think Imperial Iron Wall is kind of better because it stops Miracle Fusion, so it's
Yeah,
kind
it
of better
stops
against
Miracle
heroes,
and all
right?
that, yeah.
So I think in the future I'd decide in one of this than double Imperial. The other 2 ofs I sided in were double Dust Tornado. I know BK Kids Club was maining this card because he was playing Legacy of Yatagarasu. So the play for him is he would activate Legacy, then he would activate Dust Tornado. He would draw off Legacy, and if he drew a trap card off Legacy, he could then set the trap card to keep up like the trap pressure, right? So I think that's really cool. I'm considering maybe putting this in, but he wasn't playing MST, and I think just the speed of MST is so good over how slow Dust Tornado is. So we'll see. Future testing is required, but we'll see. Double side draw. Never went into this card because I didn't play against any machines. But you gotta have it in for any Mac deck you're playing against, right? Then the one-ups, I started in one E-Virus because I thought dragons would be more popular. And I did play against one dragon player, and I did side it in against him, but I didn't see it. It is what it is. One lightning vortex because I didn't really know what else I wanted to side in. It's a really good just board wipe, really good against like more aggressive decks. Like in the Gemini mirror match, if I lightning vortex them, I just win.
Yeah.
Dragon match, if I lightning vortex them, I just win. If they have like an established hero board of like 2-3 monsters and you lightning vortex it, generally you can just win from that. Then the final card I sided in was Mystic Swordsman level 2.
Okay.
There's a guy I met this weekend called Alex. I didn't get his last name, so sorry, but if you're seeing this, you rock. He's the one who suggested me this tech instead of, because I was siding in 2 Noblemen initially. He's like, why side in 2 Noblemen when you can just summon this guy off of Reinforced Truth and just play him and then just swing over the face down Raikos and stuff, right? And I'm like, that's super smart. I like that a lot. So I was like, yeah, it gives me 2 extra, or it gives me 1 extra space in my sideboard. That's crazy. I sided it in a lot. I only saw it against one guy, and that's when I hard drew it and I summoned it. I did blow up a Raiko with it, so like that is cool, and it did come up that one time. I don't think I changed this card. I do like it a lot. It's crazy. But yeah, that's the entire deck.
That's nice. Any shout-outs?
Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend for buying me Gemini soldiers and Black Brute Dragos.
Hey.
Because I was not able to afford them when I wanted to build the deck. She's like, I got you, dog. I got so much TCG player
Hey, that's a keeper.
Yeah, for sure. I love you, Zia. Shout out to my boys, Attil and Dakota. I tested with them non-stop. They're the only reason I top 32 this event, by far and by large. If I hadn't played tested with them, I wouldn't have been able to do anything. Shout out to you, Sharuk, for the deck profile and all the testing we did together as well. And shout out to my friends over at Alien Card Games. They're an up-and-coming shop. Subscribe to their TikTok and buy from them from TCG Player. They got really good prices on a lot of things.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's it.
Well, thanks for the deck profile. Congrats again.
Thank you so much, man.
Comment, subscribe, guys, and peace out.
Later.